man, you spent so much money on the Super Bowl. The clothes, the food, the drinks, the after party. Just for to be the worst in a decade, I'm talking 13-3, that's really why your girlfriend upset. Cause she and I are both trying to figure out why you didn't call Samantha and find out how you could have used the Super Bowl to find some trades in the stock market. Samantha, I had no clue. What's up, family? Today we talking options, but where I give you a better option, teaching you how to trade options to give you better options than the option that you had before. That's right. Today what we're talking about are two trades that you could have made and taken advantage of during the Super Bowl 2019. I have them up behind me. This is BUD and PEP. Now, I'm not saying that you can actually trade based on who wins the Super Bowl, but there is a superstition called the Super Bowl halo effect. Basically, investors who believe this superstition say that the Dow Jones has a better year, a bullish year, if the NFC team wins, and a bearish year if the AFC team wins. Now again, there hasn't been a strong correlation between the Dow Jones and who wins the Super Bowl. This is all speculation. But where we do see the moderate effect are with these stocks, especially those companies that fished out those big dollars to be in front of your screens in the Super Bowl. So who fished out those top dollars? We had Pepsi, we had Doritos, we had Stella Artois, and again, we had Budweiser. What I'm gonna show you right now, these charts behind me, are how you could have made money during the 2019 Super Bowl trading BUD and PEP. Okay, so let's start off first with BUD. So this is the one that Budweiser and Stella Artois falls under. So I want to show you first what BUD was doing even before the stock market. So you can see for yourself that, I mean, really we started to see that uptrend starting the beginning of this year, but last year, 2018, we've seen a downtrend since about September 23rd, and it was trending bearish, and we saw some really good pullbacks even as well. I mean, even if you weren't getting in on BUD simply for the Super Bowl, this actually would have been a pretty nice trade overall. But again, this is a 4-hour chart, so we're talking about swing trading right now, as far as if you were to stay in the position for maybe weeks or a couple of days. So I usually do day trading, but I also do look for opportunities to swing trade as well, especially when I'm dealing with seasonal trades. So this would be considered a seasonal trade because we're looking at those companies that invested a lot in advertisement for 2019 Super Bowl, and we're saying, okay, depending on how well these advertisements do during the Super Bowl and, you know, the celebrities that they have and the publicity that they're getting and how consumers are reacting to it on social media, all of this will play a part in what we see in the stock. So taking a look at BUD, again, it's a moderate effect that it has on the stock. I'm not saying that it, you know, BUD went up simply because of the Super Bowl. However, there has been proof that those who spend a good amount of money and a good amount of capital in advertisement, especially with a big event like the Super Bowl, that there will be an effect, especially if there's a lot of good ratings. So you can see 15-minute chart, we're still looking at BUD. This is about maybe 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, and we're seeing even some really good retracements as far as Fibonacci levels. But let's take it down to a 5-minute chart. So day trading, right? Say for example, this was Monday. This is a Monday after the Super Bowl, and you can even see there we saw a massive move to the upside as soon as the market opened. We saw a retracement, and then it went right back up. So if you had missed this opportunity here as an intraday trade, well, when we saw that retracement here, this right here looks like a nice pullback level. Let's zoom in on it. I'm going to put on a Fibonacci level right now. So add a drawing. Here's our Fibonacci retracement. Yeah, we saw a nice 61.8 level right here, and we also saw a 50 level here. So measuring from last Friday up to the beginning of Monday, if you were trading if you were looking to trade afterwards, as you can see, we did see we saw a retracement level to the 61.8 level and the 50, and those are two of my favorite levels because it's a strong level as far as when we talk about Fibonacci retracements. I don't really use 38.2 or 23.6. And then when you start to talk about that 78 level, you have to be kind of careful because, in my opinion, when I use Fibonacci, I mean, if it's a volatile stock, then I will possibly use it. But when we start to see it hit that 78 and then that 100, that could also be a sign of a reversal of the entire trend. So usually I stick to the 50 and the 61.8, and you can see that we did have some opportunities to get in on this trade. And one of the main questions that I know a lot of students have, especially when they're starting off trading and they don't know that much about Fibonacci levels and stuff like that, is I use my support levels. So whenever I see, you know, a specific level that the market is coming back to, that is a strong indicator that this may be a good level to measure as far as for my retracements. So again, this is BUD, this one is for Stella, and it's also for Budweiser. Let me show you Pepsi, because Pepsi was also a big one. Of course, you know that the Pepsi ad had Cardi B, Lil Jon, it also had Steve Carell, and Pepsi also owns Doritos, and they also had a really nice spot in the Super Bowl commercials this year. So taking a look at this stock, again, if you're wondering why isn't the market moving, this is before trading hours. Right now it's 7 o'clock and trading, the market opens at 9:30. So that's the reason why it's not moving, if you were wondering. So again, this is Pepsi. This is a week before the Super Bowl. Again, look at the movement. It was trending bullish the entire week before, and we got some really nice pullbacks, especially if we're talking about a swing trade. Looking on a 4-hour chart, I want to show you, it was kind of a similar picture with BUD in that we started to see an up move around the beginning of January. So that's also when we heard the announcement, or rather we saw the preview for some of these commercials. They started hitting social media and hitting mainstream media. And that is also when we started to see an up move with Pepsi. It also could be part of the fact that they were using some celebrities that a lot of people wanted to see, for example, Cardi B during the halftime show. But as you probably heard, Cardi B was one of those who turned down the halftime performance during the Super Bowl because she was supporting Colin Kaepernick. So these could all be reasons as to why it did well as the fact that Super Bowl 2019, a lot of people were, you know, wondering what the halftime show is going to be. There was a lot of controversy surrounding it and a lot of eyes. And of course, that's what commercials want. We want a lot of eyes. And we definitely saw that up move in Pepsi on the 4-hour chart. Say, for example, you wanted to get in on this trade, right? Especially with BUD. I want to show you what kind of opportunities exist afterwards. So I'm not talking about trades that you would do based on the Super Bowl. I'm talking about, okay, so the Super Bowl is over, but you still may want to do a trade on BUD or PP, Pepsi. Well, looking on a 4-hour chart, I found this pretty interesting. So talking about support and resistance levels, you can see that we have some consolidation again at this level right here at 78.33. So overall, BUD was trending bearish all of last year. So if you were a counter trend trader or you wanted to use a counter trend strategy, and we have a video on that for strategies that you can use to start trading, this would be a good example of one on a swing or position level. Because again, we're looking at a 4-hour chart, and we saw this up move since the beginning of January to about the beginning of February. But being that we're hitting this support level right here, this may be a good opportunity to then say, I choose to be bearish on this particular trade. And say, for example, we wanted to do that. Of course, if you were trading Forex, you understand that you would do a bearish position on this. But if you were talking about options, jumping over to the trade tab, I want to give you a little bit of room. So these right here are your expiration dates. I'm going to choose March 8th. So we have about 31 days until expiration. And let's say, for example, we were looking to do an at the money short call. So we're collecting premium because we're doing a short call, but we're choosing a bearish position. So taking a look at 77, 0.5. As you can see, bid-ask spread. What do we look for here? We look for a tight bid-ask spread, and we have one on this level. And then also, if we want to do a short call, this is of course a short put. On the short call side, if we wanted to do the similar thing, you could see this is a short call, 246. And then if we wanted to do a long call, that is the ask, that's trading at 272. So we have some tight bid-ask spreads, which is what we want for when we're trying to get out of the trade. So we're not spending too much on trying to get out of that trade. Now, say for example, we wanted to do one contract on this. What is this setup looking like, Samantha? Well, confirm send. Right here, you can see that the max profit, of course, is 246, and the buying power of this particular trade would be 1,594. So roughly $1,600 is how much they would hold aside for you taking on this trade, and your max profit would be 246. If you wanted to buy outright with this position, because you know, I choose to leave buying outright for when I am being directional. And in this case, if you were being directional and you wanted to do a long put, for example, you can see right now that would cost you about $258, and still that I wouldn't go against that. One thing that I would mention though is that this would be a good opportunity if you wanted to do a long put to do maybe an out of the money long put, so that you maybe you're choosing. Sorry about that, my recording stopped. So again, I was just talking about the fact that you can also do out of the money calls if you choose to be directional. You don't always have to choose at the money. So again, that's BUD and that's PEP. I wanted to show you the movement on the chart so you can see a clear, concise idea of what the effect can be from the Super Bowl on those big companies that spent those ad dollars during the Super Bowl commercial ads 2019.
So PEP and BUD, two stocks and two sponsors where we saw major gains in those two underlyings leading up to the Super Bowl. Now, the effect is considered moderate by many investors, and the tenacity or the volume in the stock is depending on how well the advertisement does. But putting the Super Bowl aside, these two stocks are trending, and as I showed you in the video, have some really good trade opportunities that you can get in right now. And hey, before you go, can somebody let me know in the comments, why does everyone hate Patriot fans or the Patriots at all? I mean, is it a running joke? Help me, and I'm sure thousands of ladies try to figure out, why does everyone hate Brady's team? And also let me know if you're in PEP or BUD, because as I mentioned, these are two hot stocks right now with some trading opportunities. Until next time, make sure you trade in options.